it's Ginny and Eli again. We're coming to you from Escanaba, Michigan at DS Tech. And we're going to talk some more cybersecurity with Josh.
Good morning.
He just came back from a conference, and we want to hear all the details on all the exciting stuff that's going on. Before we dive in, make sure you stay till the end so I can tell you how to get your free Galactic scan. So, what was the general experience of this conference? Where did you go? How hot was it?
So I just got back from Orlando, which is maybe not my favorite place to be in June. I'm pretty hot-blooded, so 95 degrees and 100% humidity is not my jam. But we're in a gorgeous resort, the Gaylord Palms in Orlando. So the reason I was down there was for ConnectWise IT Nation Secure. So ConnectWise is our biggest vendor. Certainly, if we work with you, you have some of ConnectWise tools, probably several of them. But it wasn't really just about ConnectWise, trying to push their own products. There were probably 40 or 50 other vendors there, and one of the big things I get out of it is we treat our vendor relationships the same way that we treat our customer relationships, where it's not transactional. It's not just here's the thing, and then you give us money for it. It's more about a relationship, and cybersecurity is a journey. So we want to make sure that we have solid relationships on both sides. So both with our customers and our vendors. So this will be the third time I've been to this event, and so over the years you meet a lot of the same people and get to catch up with them, both professionally and personally, and things like that. So had a good time. They're long days, but certainly get a lot out of it.
Cool. Any particular insights that struck you or made an impact?
Yeah. So one of the keynotes this year was from the former CIO of the White House. So that was quite interesting. So she was the CIO under George W. Bush.
What's CIO?
Chief Information Officer. Thank you.
Gotcha.
So that was her role, very, very high up in that administration. And so she had some interesting stories to tell about, like one time George W. Bush signed the budget on a tablet for the first time ever. And she talked about how they struggled with it up until the very last minute. And she joked about once it happened, everybody forgot about it.
Yeah.
But if it would have went sideways, it would have been an SNL skit probably, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow.
And so just kind of reinforced, as IT and cybersecurity professionals, we can get things right 999 times out of 1,000, but the one time things go sideways, that's where we get a light shown on us. So just kind of reinforce that we need to continue to be diligent and things like that.
Yeah.
And then from the ConnectWise perspective, they announced a new security dashboard that's coming out, I believe mid to late July. We can get early access to it, and they're calling it ConnectWise 360. And the idea behind that is it's this big security dashboard with a security score, and then we can tie all of our different tools into it. So not just ConnectWise tools, but we can pull in our backup reports and all these things, and we get this nice dashboard that shows how secure your environment is or isn't, and then it actually ranks the things that you should be working on, what's most important, so we can very purposefully work top down and continually to make our customers more and more secure. So
cool.
We do a lot of these things already, but it's just it's another tool in our arsenal to be able to be more effective.
Cool.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Any emerging threats that you heard about?
So the biggest thing, and the former CIO of the White House talked about this a lot, but AI is the thing, right? I mean, that's the buzzword, both for good and for evil. So all of those 40 or 50 vendors, maybe not all, but 90% of those 40 or 50 vendors were like, hey, here's this cool new AI tool that we have that can make you more effective, and things like that. But then on the other hand, AI is used by the bad guys too. So it's used to impersonate people's voices and their likenesses and generate images and things like that. So, I think that was the big topic, and it was interesting because just last year I went to the same conference, and people are aware of AI, but then ChatGPT dropped their bomb in January and had 100 million users within 2 months.
Yeah.
So we've really reached a kind of a turning point with cybersecurity, and so I think that was the big thing, was just how can we use AI for good to fight the bad guys that are using AI for evil.
Yeah.
One question, I mean, and I know that when you are looking at things like pictures, videos, things like that, there's AI tells. Like look at the fingers, look at if it's an animal, look at its claws or something.
Look at the spelling of
toes.
words are often incorrect.
Okay, yeah. So, and that's what I was gonna say. Are there signatures in a digital environment that could be more indicative of like AI or something like that?
Yeah,
Or are we not at that point yet?
Well, the tell to me always when I'm looking at an image is that, especially when it's a person, the lighting looks kind of weird. Like they look just slightly cartoonish,
Okay.
and
Too smooth.
yeah,
kinda?
yeah, too smooth. Like there's no texture. They often don't have like hair on their arms or things like that. Like or if they do,
Little
it's too
details.
uniform.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it looks almost like a Pixar image or
Oh,
something. Like
yeah.
it's just slightly too shiny. There's not enough variance in lighting, things
Gotcha.
like that. That's always the tell to me.
Okay.
I know there's been some calls for legislation, and of course
Sure.
the government moves at a glacial pace, and technology doesn't. But
Yeah.
there's been a lot of calls for legislation to require watermarks on anything
On
that
anything AI.
that was generated by an AI. But we're not there yet.
A lot of the social platforms already have, like
Oh, sure.
they're telling you they have it right under the thing. Is this AI? And if it is, you got to check this box. I think that where they're going with that is they're just going to be after the accounts that use AI
Mhm,
consistently
mhm.
that don't report it. I
Oh,
think they'll
okay,
probably
okay.
end up shutting you down,
Yeah.
stuff
Wow.
like that. So
Yeah, and there are some free tools out there. I couldn't name any off the top of my head, but there are some free tools out there where you can upload an image or upload a video, and it will kind of score it to say, this is the likelihood that this was generated by AI. And so, especially if it's a situation where you're being asked to trust that image or video for some
Yeah.
reason, I think that's where it's important to do some extra due diligence.
yeah.
I know we've mentioned those in past videos too. Hey,
We have. We had a whole-
humongous transactions.
Yes, we had a
via
whole
Teams.
talk with Tim about AI.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
go
gosh.
back into our other episodes to find those.
Go through the archives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kinds of things are we implementing from your conference, you think, besides the 360 dashboard?
Yeah,
Um,
the 360 dashboard will be coming shortly. Everything else a little bit too early to tell.
Yeah.
We always like to do our own due diligence on tools before we start offering them to customers.
Yep.
It's very important for us to utilize tools ourselves on our own environment and just get a good understanding of how they work, what they do. Develop our own procedures for how we're going to implement and maintain these tools. Because if we're going to offer something, we want to make sure we do it right.
Absolutely.
And so,
have those
I'm
best
never
practices in
yeah.
place before you.
Exactly. Like I never want to be in the mode of like, okay, I just came back from this conference and here's all these new shiny
Woo!
tools. It's very easy to get distracted by all those things.
You get an AI.
Um,
you get an AI.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that there's value in the tools that we're offering, and also that there's not too much overlap. I mean, so many of the vendors that I talk to, it's like, what you're doing is cool, but we're doing something very similar with this tool already, and we want to be efficient with our own spending, and if our customers are going to trust us with their funds, we want to make sure we're being efficient there too. So, nothing super imminent, but there's a few things that we are looking at.
Like anything with procedures and that kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah. So
best practices.
one of the big things we did an entire day on this actually. There was a kind of a pre-day conference called Automation Nation, and the entire concept behind that was utilizing AI and the robotic process automation or RPA to develop some of our own processes and procedures and see how we can automate them and make our business more efficient, which in turn makes our customers' business more efficient. That helps us respond to alerts faster, maybe automate the repair of certain things, respond to cybersecurity incidents. So that's something we're going to be spending a lot of time and effort on for the remainder of 24, and I'm sure into 2025 as well. So I think that's probably the big thing.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. What else do I have? Okay, well, I think we already talked about networking because you talked about the people that you network with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Any other?
you run into a lot of people over the years, a lot of vendors that we've worked with over time. We run into a lot of our cohorts at some of our sister companies within New Charter Technologies. There was probably 20 to 25 of those folks
Oh,
there
sure.
from
I
all
can
around the
imagine,
country.
yeah.
So it was nice to catch up
Cool.
with them. I certainly talk to them more regularly, throughout the year via Teams and things like that. But it's always it hits a little
It's
different
cool
to
to
catch
see
up
a
in
face
person,
to a
right?
real
You can
one.
actually
Yeah.
break bread with people and have a meal
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
So
So,
true.
so there was a lot of that. And then, the interesting thing about IT Nation in general, because they have multiple conferences throughout the years, almost everybody there is technically competition, right? They're all MSPs
sure.
like we are. They're providing a lot of the same services we are, but it's interesting to see how much people will open up and talk about, like, how are you dealing with the challenges of AI, or how are you dealing with these
Yeah.
other cybersecurity challenges? And people are fairly open about
Yeah.
those kind of things, or even just business level challenges. How are you dealing with
That's awesome.
maybe new employee onboarding? Do you have any tips for me and stuff like that? So, you just run into random people, and we're all nerds, right? I mean, we're fairly
Yeah.
introverted, but you got to come out of your shell a little bit and just talk to people, and you have some pretty interesting conversations.
I mean, how are
That's
you going to
cool.
exchange ideas if you think every competition is evil? Of course, it's just
Exactly.
other people out there trying to do the same thing that you have a passion for. So,
Yeah. I mean, ultimately,
Hopefully
we're
they do.
businesses, but we're all in this together. I mean, we
right,
want
right.
We're all
we-
in the
we-
we're all in the same fight.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we want to secure small and medium businesses. That's really what all of us are about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so, I mean, as much as we would like to have everybody's business, that's certainly not achievable. So, if we can help somebody else, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
Well,
always-
there's always ideas, perspectives, tools that we might have.
Tim calls it our
95%
brain
of it.
trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like,
Absolutely.
we don't know everything, but with all of us combined, we know a lot more.
Bingo.
So yeah,
You know,
Yep,
the
exactly.
more heads, the better.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, even within our own team here,
Yeah.
we have 20, 25 technicians, something like that, and we all have our own areas of
Just specialists
expertise.
in their own right.
Certainly a lot of us can do a lot of different things, but a lot of times it's I'm not an expert on this specific thing. This person will be able to handle this a lot faster for you, more efficiently. Know the answer right off the top of my head versus me or somebody else spending hours researching it
Yeah.
and things like
Yeah.
that. And so we try to use those things as training opportunities too, and
Mhm.
rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a good
awesome. Well, any parting comments about that? Maybe the massive overview of like what was the best?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like drinking from the fire hose a little bit. I mean, we actually
It's
send
so
2
much.
people to this conference because at any given time there can be 6 to 7 different
Sessions.
talks and sessions that you can go to, and it's impossible to choose,
Yeah.
right? So
It's like if you had 2 weeks, you couldn't make it to everything.
Yeah,
if It was
exactly.
just one person.
exactly. So we try to divide and conquer a little bit, and there's always more to learn, and we're going to keep going to these things year after year because cybersecurity is a journey. It's not.
Mhm. No.
It's not like you learn a finite set of knowledge and you're good.
All right, we're done.
There's
No.
always
We did it, guys.
Yep.
We're cyber secure.
There's always new threats out there and new tools to combat those threats and new procedures that we can implement to be more efficient in addressing those threats and things like that. So, that's the goal.
Awesome.
Keep doing that.
Awesome. Okay, so
Weird.
go to our website, dstech.net, and sign up for your free security assessment. The Galactic Scan is still free, so make sure you get that so that you know what's going on in your business and if we can help. All right? Make it a great day. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Josh.